Hey everybody, welcome back to today's episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. My name is Kirsten and thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to listen to me. It is a beautiful Saturday morning over here and I'm recording a couple of different podcast episodes today. So I'm just sitting here with my cup of tea and today I'm going to create or share with you a little bit different episode. So if you have carefully listened to the beginning, the intro of this podcast, that I say there that we want to take care of our physical and mental health, but also spiritual health, right? And this is something that I haven't really talked too much about because I've been really focusing on macros and nutrition and strength training and healing your physical body, but also healing our spiritual self or awakening the spiritual self. Like this is something that's really, really important to me. And honestly, it wasn't until a couple of years ago when I got really started with trying out and kind of playing around with all kinds of different spiritual practices and things that would help me to get more in touch with myself. And it has been a really, really fun journey. I'm still exploring it. Like there's so many things you can do, but I feel like it's something that I haven't really shared a lot, even though these are the things that I do daily, some of the things that I do daily. So I decided that today is the day to share a little bit more this side of me because I do feel like it's not, well, it has been talked quite a bit, but I personally have not talked about my experiences a lot and why I think all these things matter and how they have helped me. I think there's so many times when we pay like extreme attention on our physical health and getting all the exercise right and the workouts done and the macros correct and timing even correct. Like we can be like so meticulous about all of these things, but then we are lacking something else, and that what we are missing, what we're lacking is like getting in touch with our kind of deepest self or higher self or the source, whatever you want to call it. And this can be a huge missing piece. This can be a huge reason why we are not feeling well, why we're not feeling that great. And we want to feel great, right? Don't we? We don't want to be like only focusing on the external things. We want to make sure that we are in alignment with ourselves, and that will really help us to feel a lot better too. So in today's episode, I'm going to share with you some things that I have personally tried and experienced in the past couple of years. You can categorize all these things under like spirituality or healing or self-help or whatever you want to call it. For me, these are just the things that I keep exploring that help me to feel better and get, like I said, into better alignment with myself, with who I am and what I want to do and how I want to serve others and how can I just feel good about myself. So let's get started. So where do I even start? It's been about a couple of years, like I said, since I've been more interested in any of these things. And I think, everybody has tried a little bit of meditation and, of course, come to a conclusion that it's not for me. My mind is racing. I cannot do this. This is too much, blah, blah, blah. So, of course, I had tried, meditation. I think the first time I tried it was around maybe 2015. And then I just like been messing around with a little bit, trying like once a week or a couple of days a week and trying a couple of minutes, but not actually doing it, giving it up and all that kind of stuff. But I think I started doing more meditation around 2019. It was early 2019. And, just sitting down and putting your cushion down and just trying to do like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, like sitting in silence and see what comes up. And of course, at first it's so like, what is this even? Like, why am I supposed to do this? Is there an app for it? Should I use an app for it? Like, what I'm supposed to feel and all that. So I've been kind of, trying to do it a little bit, but then I found on the Best Life podcast, I learned about ayahuasca. So ayahuasca is a plant medicine that is used in Central America and some other places too. And it's a really, really powerful plant that you can consume, you can drink it, and it will show you things about your past. It will show you things about your past lives. It can show you all the hardships that you have gone through, but in a really, really intense way. And I heard this podcast and I was like, what is this thing? I could barely pronounce this word, ayahuasca. But the more I learned about it, the more excited I got about it. And it was so interesting. I remember to this day, I was at Whole Foods with Hugh, my husband, and we were just checking out. And then I told him that, you know what, there's this thing, I heard this podcast and people have really profound experiences using this plant, and what it's called is something, what is it called? And he was like, oh, it's ayahuasca. And comes out that at the same time, he had been doing his research too. I think he had learned about it or read about it or listened to another podcast. And we started talking about it and we were like, hey, is that something you'd like to try? Because it sounds really interesting. And he probably found all the spirituality world a little bit earlier than I did. He has been sort of a little bit like a guide for me too. And so we decided that we want to do it. And so the podcast that I was listening to by Danny J and Jill Coleman, they talk about that they went to Costa Rica to a place called Rhythmia, which is, I think they call it Life Advancement Center, something like that, where you can do ayahuasca ceremonies. And so we started looking into it and we found that place online, and we booked our trip to Costa Rica to do 4 days of ayahuasca in Costa Rica. And this was it was a really intense experience. Really, really intense experience. And I just, looking back, I was like a total rookie to anything spirituality, anything like quote unquote out of this world, because you will be out of this world, you will be out of this mind when you take this when you use this plant medicine. And I was like a total newbie, so I had barely even tried a little bit of meditation, and then I jumped into something really, really intense. So I have a couple of YouTube videos on how our ayahuasca trip went, but it was, I would say, the hardest week of my life, for sure. So when we arrived, the first thing we did, the first day was breath work, and then we had 4 nights of ayahuasca ceremonies, and then we finished it up with another breath work day. And the ayahuasca ceremonies were really, really intense. So 4 nights, like I said, and the first night, not much happened. But the second night, holy crap, what happened? So basically what it looks like is that we are, lying down in a big room. There's about maybe 50 of us, and we take the medicine. Of course, there's like a whole, getting ready and setting everything up, and there's shamans and there's facilitators, and they're smoking sage and they're smoking Palo Santo, and we're using rapé, which is a tobacco that kind of opens your mind up to what's you're supposed to be seeing. And we lie down, and then you just let the medicine do the job after you have drank it. And it was very, very intense. So in the first 20 minutes, I started feeling getting crazy visuals from my past, from the things that I didn't ever know that had happened, but they had happened. So it revealed a bunch of things. It was really difficult. I was panicking. I woke up. I was like sweaty. I was hot. I wanted to take all my clothes off, and and then the facilitators, of course, they come to you really quickly to help you and to kind of calm you and to help you through this. So the next night was a lot better, and the next night was a lot of fun. It was great. It was a beautiful ceremony. It was like female shaman who led this, and it was the visions that I saw, they're really amazing. Like I remember I was like some kind of on a roller coaster ride, like through my life and different stages of my life, and I got a lot of healing. I saw like somebody pulling something black and dark like out of my belly and telling me that this is something you needed to get rid of. I also had an experience of myself dying, like literally I could feel like how I was dying, and then like emerging again as like a new bright white light. I had a lot of visuals like that. One really interesting thing was that when I woke up, I was touching my body. I was like squeezing my belly and looking at my hands, and I was like, oh my God, I have new hands. Like my hands looked like brand new to me. It was like somebody else's hands. So and I felt really good the next day. And then the fourth night was the really, really hard one, when I had a lot of trouble surrendering. You want to surrender when you're trying something like that. You can't fight it, but this is, I don't know, I had just like so much fear. So I still to this day feel a little bit of regret, although I know that I shouldn't be feeling any regret. It was what it was, and it was exactly what needed to happened in this moment. But I was not able to surrender, and all that night I was like fighting. I didn't want to see something that the medicine wanted to show me. So it was struggle, and integrating back to a normal life after that, it was not easy, but it was a really, really profound experience. If anybody ever wants to try ayahuasca, then I really recommend Rhythmia in Costa Rica. It was a great place. They made you feel so comfortable. It's like a luxury hotel. It's not a luxury hotel, but it's like the level that they take care of you. It's just beautiful. It's so good because they know it is so hard. You see like grown men crying. You see people doing all, crying and laughing and having all sorts of experiences. There's some people vomit, some people get a lot of diarrhea, and it all has to come out of your body. I didn't experience neither of these, but most people did. My husband had, on the last day, everything came out, and he got a lot of healing from some of his past lives. So this is just like a super quick recap, but this was our ayahuasca experience, and I'm just thinking to myself that I hadn't really done much spiritual work before that, but I jumped right into something really, really big, and I don't regret it. I think it was great. It was a good experience, but I think the next time, if I ever do this again, I'm not sure, I have not decided. If I ever do this again, I'm definitely a lot better prepared, although you can never be fully prepared for an ayahuasca ceremony because you have no idea what's going to show you. You're going to be so surprised at what it's going to show you, and you constantly probably feel that you want to run away from the situation, escape, but it's beautiful on the other side. The other side is great. You feel like you're a different person after this experience. So this was the first thing that I ever did, something like really, really kind of deep. And then after that, of course, I got into a way more consistent meditation practice too, because I started to understand how important it really is to keep this thing alive. The new thing that I found to keep this alive. And so I started meditating a lot more, and I've been going through different phases. Like sometimes when I just want to sit in complete stillness, and I was able to do it maybe like 30 minutes even, just sit there and feel, and what comes to you needs to come to you. But also there are periods of time when I did more, or still do more, guided meditations. So I use the Insight Timer app if I feel like I need to do guided meditation. Maybe sometimes you feel like you cannot focus 100%, or your mind is really distracted for a silent meditation. This is where I usually go for guided. And I have a couple of favorite instructors whose work I follow, or whose meditations I follow. I really like Lou Redmond. It's been a while since I've done his meditations on Insight Timer app, but at some point I really resonated with what he said, and I really enjoyed doing his meditation. So look it up. It's called Insight Timer, and it's free, at least in the US. I have some clients in Europe who have told me that they have to pay for it. I have not checked that recently if this is still the case, but at least in the US it is free. And on this app you can find a lot of meditations. Also you can find a lot of just like talks, podcast type of things. You can also find sleep stories, which I have sometimes listened to when I have a hard time falling asleep, not falling asleep, but staying asleep. So I've been listening to them, their sleep stories. So all kinds of fun things. You can find music even that you can find on the Insight Timer app as well. So these were the first two. Moving on, what else have I tried? Not too long after we got back from ayahuasca, I had a Reiki session. So I've been doing Reiki sometimes. So Reiki is like energy work, right? So moving the energy around in your body to, again, help you heal. And the Reiki practitioner that I saw, she told me about another plant medicine, which is called Wachuma or San Pedro. And she's doing a ceremony using that plant. And so she told me that I can tell that you're energetically really open and really receptive right now, which was probably because I had just done ayahuasca. And she invited me to one of her ceremonies. And so I was like, I didn't think I'm gonna do anything that intense anymore anytime soon after ayahuasca, but there it was, I think 2 months after, and I was like, all right, let's do it. And honestly, I thought like if I've done ayahuasca, I've seen like something really intense, and I don't think that Wachuma could be nowhere near as it like as intense, so I'm probably able to handle it really well. So here's my experience with Wachuma, and I've done this now I think 3 times. So the first time after ayahuasca, uh, what I really so it works kind of the same. It's a plant medicine. It's like a tea that's brewed out of this plant, and you drink it. And we also went on a hike. It was really really strenuous hike, and then on the top of the hill we sat down, we meditated there, and then we hiked back the down the hill, and then this is where you really start feeling the medicine kind of kicking in. And I often get with like a lot of physical things, like I start shaking a lot, so this is my form of like releasing energy. I also start yawning. The same things happened when I did ayahuasca too. And so I started getting the same things. It starts with like twitching in my thighs. So this is the first sign that I know, okay, it's kicking in now. I know what to expect now. So and then what I really loved about Wachuma is that it gives you a similar effect. Like it releases energy, it releases the people talk a lot about past traumas, so it releases a lot of stuff without you having to see it. Because this was the hardest part for me. When I did ayahuasca ceremony, I saw some ugly stuff, right? And I didn't want to, but I had nowhere to run, so I had to see it, and I did get the healing, and it was cool. But then with Wachuma, or San Pedro, it's also called, you get the similar effect. You release a lot. Like I shook so much, but I didn't see what I was releasing. So to me, that made things a lot easier, although the whole ceremony was longer. So the ceremony, the total was about, I think we started at 10 o'clock, and then it went until 10, 11. So 12-hour ceremony versus ayahuasca was like 7, I think 6, 7 hours. So it was a good experience. I liked it. We also did like a lot of like prayer and meditation, like as part of this Washuma ceremony. So the difference between these two were that with ayahuasca, you just lie down and you have fully your own experience, and nobody's talking to you, and nobody's like interrupting you or anything like that. You don't have any like group activities together. But the other one with San Pedro, we had like a lot of things where we got together as a group, we shared something, we shared what we're going through, we shared our our prayers or whatever, and then you go back to your own private place and then continue experiencing. So I mean, there's different ways to set up all of these ceremonies, but this is just how these things were different with these facilitators that I went to. So Wachuma is good. I like it. I would do it again if I had a chance. I can't do it like the I have, like I said, I have moved. I'm not in the same place where I did this Wachuma before, but if I have a chance, I would do it again. I am not sure if I would do ayahuasca again, because it was just so much more intense. And like I said, the visual part of it was really, really difficult to handle. Some people take it easier. Like, for example, my husband, he had a really good experience. Like all 4 nights, he was golden. It was great. It was awesome. But for me, it was so much harder. And so he has done ayahuasca after that too. I skipped that one. Okay. Then what else have I tried? So these are probably the most, I wouldn't say most powerful, actually I take that back, but most interesting ones maybe. Then after that, I tried some hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy, to me, I gotta say, it was not very very profound. So I got 3 sessions. I also had, actually previously I've had 1 session with somebody else, but in person with somebody, I had 3 sessions. And if you've never done hypnotherapy, you maybe see it in movies, but it's not what it looks like in movies. You're not going like out of your mind, and you're not like going crazy, and the practitioner is not doing crazy stuff on you, right? So what it actually looks like is that, at least for me, my experience is that I met up with my practitioner, or I don't know what you call it, facilitator is probably the right word. So I just go there, you sit down in the chair, you lay back, you try to relax, and then he counts down the numbers from 10 to 1. And then at this point, you are in a deep, deep state, but you are still aware, you are still in control. So with ayahuasca, you are not in control. So this is an ultimate test for those with control issues, which is, it's interesting. But with hypnotherapy, you are in control. So you can, at any point when things get uncomfortable, you can just snap out of it and not do it anymore, and that's fine. And of course, that's why it doesn't go quite as deep, or at least didn't for me. And I wasn't really able to kind of connect or find that connection. So I did my 3 sessions. I think it was a little bit beneficial, a little bit helpful, but it wasn't anything too profound for me. This is not to say that it can be profound for you, or if it can, or that it cannot be a fun thing to explore. It may be really helpful. I know people who say that hypnotherapy has worked really, really well for them. It can help all kinds of people. Like the person that I worked with, he works with a lot of athletes to help them to get to their goals better and to kind of utilize their inner power more. And so he has also helped people to overcome smoking and alcohol issues and addictions and all that kind of stuff. So I think it can be a really, really great tool. Just for me personally, it wasn't anything very, very powerful, and I probably would not do it again at this point, at least. All right, and then moving on to a little bit which may seem like a more like a common thing that a lot of people do, and this is journaling and writing. So the reason why I started doing more journaling and writing was that I was having chronic pain, and this is also I've done a podcast episode where I talked to Christina Way, and I'm going to link to it in the show notes. And she was the person who helped me a lot with my chronic pain. So comes out that a lot of times chronic pain is caused by not physical symptoms, not that there's something wrong with your spine, it's not your slip disc, it's not what's causing you issues, it's actually your psychology that's causing you issues. And so I found 2 books. One is called The Mind Body Prescription by John Sarno, which I have also mentioned earlier in this episode, and the other one is Back in Control by Dr. David Hanscom. And they both say that our issues, our physical issues, a lot of times are just manifestations of something is not going well in our psychology, and we have to release that. We have to release that energy, because trapped energy, it just gets stuck in your body and causing you issues. And a lot of trouble is caused by these things, anything from like chronic back pain to even like cancers and all types of things that we typically think we need like something external, something physical to come fix it, whereas the solution is something else. And so I found these 2 books, and I started expressive writing. So this is what Dr. David Hanscom recommends in his book. So he is actually a spinal surgeon, and he says he rarely performs surgeries anymore because he has found expressive writing to be a lot better solution. It's non-invasive. Nobody's taking anything into your body. Nobody's taking any pills. You're not taking anything external, but you can just write your problems out. And I know it sounds like, yeah, what the hell are you talking about? It's not going to work. Like, you don't understand. I have real pain, right? I understand. Believe me, I understand it really well. I had really odd pains in my body. So in addition to my back pain, I had pain in my left arm, I had pain in my left leg, I had pain in my ovary area, and I had tingling in my hand and in my foot. And this is when I learned about Sarno and Hanscom, and I started working with a pain coach, and it was letting my emotions and thoughts out and also writing them out. So as a result of that, my back pain definitely lowered, but my back pain comes back frequently. I have to say that. And this is the point where I still have to work on my stress and work on my psychology and check in with myself. Like, what am I doing? What's stressing me out? How can I relax more? How can I change the way I'm thinking? But the other things, my arm pain, leg pain, hand pain, foot pain, and the pain in my lower abdominals, these went away as a result of doing psychological work. And so David Hanscom has this technique which he calls expressive writing. And he says that the way you do it is you write 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, and it's just free writing. Whatever comes to your mind, whatever bothers you, whatever needs to be released, you just write it out. And then as soon as you're done, you just take that piece of paper, throw it away, or shred it, or burn it, whatever. And then also John Sarno, his method is called, what is it called? Um, I'm blanking on it right now, but Mind Body Prescription is the book. And he also has like, not he, but based on his work, there's a website, TMS, Tension Myositis Syndrome, tmswiki.org. Check that out, and they have 40 days of journaling prompts that you use to get better. And I did this program. I didn't do all 40 days. I think I stopped at 30 days or so, but I know that during this time I was like digging deep into my issues and the past problems that I had, and I just wrote it out, and my pain went away. Like I said, in my limbs, in my lower abdomen, the pain went away. The back pain got a lot better, but still a bit there, and comes back every now and then I have to deal with it again. But it was just amazing how much the writing really helped me. And Dr. Hanscom says in his book too that when he doesn't pay attention, when he doesn't write, then his pain comes back, and then he finds himself just more irritable. He said that, my wife asking me, "Hey honey, have you been writing?" He's like, "No, haven't been writing for a couple of weeks, so get back to it." So it's just so incredible how much power something like that has. And I feel like a lot of times we just think that, okay, I need a surgery, I need a pill, I need a this and that, like take something external, just comes and band-aids my issue, but it doesn't. A lot of the times these solutions are inside and they have to be let out. All right, that was writing. Moving on, and there's 3 more things that I want to share today, and they are all recent. So the next thing I want to mention is cold therapy. So in my life update episode, I shared with you that I have been doing breath work and ice cold showers, and this is what I learned from the guy called Wim Hof. So cold therapy is exposing yourself to cold. So your body actually, when you expose yourself to cold for a period of time, your body releases a lot of stress hormones, which is like paradox, but it does help you to heal internally, right? So cold therapy can be done in different ways. So ice cold shower is the way he does that. And Wim Hof has done a lot of crazy stuff. He has been swimming under like ice water for I don't know how long. He has run a marathon in snow wearing nothing but just shorts, not even shoes. He's doing these things all the time. And of course, the daily ice cold shower is his thing every single morning. And this is what I started doing too, together with his breath work, which I get to next. But ice cold showers. So every single morning, I'm right now on day 55, just did it this morning. And it does make you feel good. It's like you don't need your caffeine after that, right? You're just awake, you're ready to go, you're alert. And you're also boosting your immunity, which is another thing. We all need good immune system, right? We know that. So again, your immune system doesn't come from a pill or whatever. Your strong immune system comes from eating well and exercising well, but also exposing your body to cold once in a while, right? So it can fight it and resist it. And it also has pain reducing benefits. So it's really great. Everybody can do it. And, you don't have to start with like 2 minutes cold shower. You can start with 30 seconds. The other day I recommended to my client and she said, I lasted 7 seconds and then I couldn't do it anymore. Cool. If you started 7 seconds, start at 7 seconds. That's fine. By the way, cold therapy is something really, really like common that we do in Estonia. So in Estonia, sauna is a big thing. Oh, that's another topic I could totally get into, but maybe I'll leave it for next time. But we go to sauna a lot, and we go there like in the winter time. You go to sauna, you heat your body up, you get hot. By the way, you are naked in the sauna. Yes, you are naked. And then you get outside and maybe you roll in the snow or you jump in a frozen lake. You do this hot, cold thing. And this is also highly beneficial for your immune system and building up more pain tolerance and all that kind of stuff. So I'm somewhat familiar to this thing, just like now living in a way warmer climate. I don't do it all the time, but I am doing it. I'm doing it now. So try out cold showers, expose your body to cold. The other thing that I've done recently is cryotherapy. It's basically like how would I even say it? It's like a tub, like an upright thing that you stand inside, and it's cold inside. It's really cold, and you stay there for like 3 minutes and expose your body. Again, you're naked, you expose your body to cold, and you come out, and it takes down your inflammation, it helps you with recovery, it takes down your pain. So it's another form of cold therapy. There's many forms of that for you to try. So cryotherapy is also fun. So I did 6 sessions. I'm not sure that I'm going to continue that at this point, because I'm doing the cold showers anyway, but it was worth the try, and I think it was a great thing. All right, next thing is breath work. So you probably know that I've been super into breath work lately. Especially if you are a follower on Instagram, then I learned about breath work, and I covered this in my life update episode. I kind of started doing it more with my friend Jen, like her recommendation. We did it together, and then since then I started doing Wim Hof. So what does it mean, the breath work? So breath work can be done in many different ways. There's belly breathing, and then there's the breathing where you breathe into your belly and chest, and then there's this really powerful breathing. There's different types of breathing. There's holotropic breathing. And I just learned actually yesterday that holotropic breathing was developed by somebody who in 1968, I think, when LSD became forbidden, this person wanted to get the same effect that he got from LSD. So he started messing around with breath work, and then he created this holotropic breathing that he felt like gave him the same benefits or the same results as LSD did. And it was no longer forbidden, right? Like, everybody can breathe. Nobody can tell us to not breathe. Okay. So he created this technique, and what I have been doing is I've been doing Wim Hof breathing, and you can look it up. I'm gonna link to it on YouTube again, and then also I have been doing, like I mentioned, before we started ayahuasca, we had 2 sessions of breath work, or one before and one after. So this is like a longer form of breath work. It's like an hour or 2 hours of intense breathing, and you do it with the guidance from your instructor or your facilitator. And I do these once in a while. So just last Saturday, I did 2 hours of breath work in a group setting, and it was great. I cannot tell you, like, the benefits you get are just incredible. Right after that, I felt like I was like a different person in a different world. You almost like go out of your mind again a little bit, and then come back, and then you have this stillness, you have this presence, you are feeling really, really centered. You don't know what the heck just happened to you. You just feel like completely transformed. And then after that, you may get like interesting sensations. Like last week, for example, I was like, I have to go and run, and I rarely run, and I had to get outside. I had to go outside and run on a trail. I just listen to this music. It's just something that I don't typically do. You may find all kinds of interesting sensations, like a lot of emotions come up. You may want to cry, you may want to punch, you may want to laugh really hard during this session or after this. It's really incredible. You feel completely different. So I really encourage you to look up breath work. There are a lot of facilitators who do that, and I can put a link to the person whose class I attended to in the show notes. He's the same person who did my breathwork sessions in Costa Rica at Rhythmia. Okay, and then we're getting to the last thing, which is the most recent discovery for me, and we've been doing together with Hugh, my husband, and this is called Kundalini Awakening Process, or CAP Kundalini. Kundalini is an energy that's believed to be in the base of our spine, and for most people it's sort of like locked, right? It's not released, and that's why we're feeling stuck. That's why we're feeling we're not living to our full potential. We're just not feeling the way we should. We don't feel maybe as aligned. So the goal with this awakening of your Kundalini is to awaken this energy so you can experience all the good things. You can experience the alignment. It's actually just all energy. It's kind of like Reiki's energy healing. Kundalini too. You want to get this energy moving and flowing. So a lot of times energy is stuck. This is also why we get the physical pain, right? Energy is stuck. We want to get the energy moving and flowing again. And so we have been to Kundalini awakening classes for 3 times now. And here's what it looks like. So there's 6 people, and we are laying down on our yoga mats. And then there are 2 facilitators who then start working on our energy points, or our, I guess, energy points. And then sometimes they come around, they touch you, but sometimes they just hold their hand above you. And this starts interesting processes in your body. So the response can be different. And my first and my second and third experience were completely different. So my first experience was very intense. And again, this is one of the things, kind of hypnotherapy. If you don't like it, you can just snap out of it and no problem. You're back in your reality. But it's, of course, recommend that you go into it. You go deeper. You let things happen. You let things happen when need to happen. This is how you get your energy moving, and this is how you get the healing. So my first experience was really intense. So I started feeling really quickly. So I started feeling again, like I said, my thighs, like a little twitching feeling, and then my whole body just started shaking and doing weird movements and just shaking. The music is really, really loud in the room, and then it's, I wouldn't say it's uncontrollable, but you have to let it happen. So I didn't try to control it, and I really loved it because I have problems sometimes letting go of control. But I just let it happen. I just, my arms are moving, my chest moving, sometimes you come up, like I was on my back, and then my chest kind of lifted it up on its own. It's almost like you're on your shoulder blades, and then chest is up. It's weird. Sometimes you feel like you want to dance. Sometimes you feel like you want to move over, or like roll over onto your belly, like do all kinds of different things. And then I started like giggling, I started laughing, which is usually doesn't happen to me, but it's such a fun experience. I just like laughed it out. And then it all just stops, right? For a couple of next songs, it's just quiet. You're like, your body is just stillness. And then it starts again, and then you move again, and then you move around and all that, do all these funny things again. So the first experience was really profound, and I did have like a little bit of a headache later, but they said it's totally normal. It's just that you're releasing a lot of stuff. And so that was great. My second and third experience, though, have been way less intense. They've been very, very peaceful, very, very calm. I've been just like lying there and not having a lot of sensations, but it's different every time. So people who've done it for a long time, they say that you never know what to expect. The only thing you can do is to fully surrender, fully relax, fully just let it be what it needs to be, and trust that it works. And it really does. Honestly, after the first day or the first experience with that, my whole next week was very different. Like work-wise and otherwise, it was a really good week. I was able to have a couple of conversations that had been really hard for me before. I was able to do that. I kind of like found that strength. I felt better. I felt more like I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm doing. I have more confidence. I just felt better in tune with myself. So this is the last thing that we have been doing, and we're doing at least 3 more sessions we have planned right now. But this was a lot. If I had to pick, or if I had to say like what have been the most profound things for me, then I would say that of course all the plant medicines are really, really strong. So this is the most intense stuff that you can get, right? It's trying to plant medicine. But breath work, I really love breath work because while I hate doing it, I don't love it. It's really hard. It's difficult. And physically, it's hard. Your mouth gets dry and it's weird. The benefits are great. And what I really love about breath work is that you can get really similar effects to like using a plant without having to put anything into your body. This is what I really like. It just shows me like how powerful it is, how cool things we can accomplish, how we can actually get ourselves to a totally different mental and physical state by just manipulating our breath. So that to me is like mind-blowing. Okay, so breath work and then plant medicine are really, really amazing. And then I really love the cold right now too. So these are my favorites, but it's always like evolving process. I don't think it's never ever a point where you're like, okay, I'm arrived. I'm not going to do anything anymore. It's almost like going like, oh, I went to school, I got my like high school diploma, I'm done, I'm not going to study anymore. This is not how it works. It's like always ongoing, always exploring. And it doesn't have to, like, your journey doesn't have to look like mine. You don't have to do these things that I mentioned. You can find a totally different thing, but I just want you to find something, like explore something. Maybe it's a simple yoga class, right? Maybe you say, oh, yoga is so boring, I can't get myself to sit there for that long and just stretch. Well, this is probably what you need to do, because everybody needs to tune in. Like, we cannot always just live like this, like external stuff, and think like the to-do list and what are other people thinking, what are the expectations, and am I accomplishing all these things? Yes, this is important, but also what's happening internally, what's happening inside. How can we get to the next level internally? What can we do? And believe me, I've said a couple of times, I'm going to say it again, like true healing, even from physical stuff, doesn't often have to come from anything external. It does not have to come from a pill, from some kind of medication, some kind of surgery. Whatever we put into our bodies does not have to come from there, other than food. Food is very healing, but a lot of the work can be done with our mindset, with our thinking, with us tuning into our bodies and exploring what is going on there. Stop denying stuff, stop escaping, stop running away from things, but face them, because in order to get better, we have to face these things first. So this is my advice for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, totally different from what I've done before. But I wanted to show you this side of me too, and hope that maybe some of these tips will help you get started with your healing journey as well, because believe me, we all have stuff to heal from. This is all I got for you today. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for listening to almost 45 minutes. And I will see you again in the next episode. If you have any questions, I'm super excited to answer them. So send them my way. Thanks so much, and see you next time. Bye-bye.